So apparently, if you're a photographer or videographer and you have a YouTube channel, you have to make at least once a year one of these videos called What's in My Camera Bag. A lot of things have changed since I made that video, so I thought, why not do one more? You know, in the last 5 years or so, I've watched so many videos of this kind. It helped me a lot. So I hope today's video helps you a little bit, or at least maybe you find it entertaining. And because I've been watching this kind of videos for so long, I remember how I used to feel in the beginning. I would watch these guys on YouTube talk about this and that and think, how did they have money to get all this? You know, like they had 5 lenses and 3 camera bodies and 2 backpacks and whatnot. So a lot of times I would feel discouraged that I would never afford buying this or that. So that's why today's video is not about me bragging with my equipment. In fact, I don't even want to show you everything I have, but rather pack the bag with what I think is a typical day of shooting, maybe for a client or for a YouTube video. So, unless you're buying the Peter McKinnon backpack, which everyone talks about, it's so nicely built and it looks so cool, no one really mentions how expensive it actually is. Unless you have a budget for that one, I don't even want to recommend you any other backpack than this. This is the Lowepro ProTactic 450 All-Weather 2nd Edition. Besides the design, which I really like, I think this backpack is so well built. In the first month or so, I was handling it so gently, you know, I was like, oh, I'll just put my backpack over here, you know, oh, my backpack gotta be dirty, I gotta clean it. After that, I started throwing it all over the place. Of course, I try to keep it clean and so, but all I want to say is that it's so well built that I trust all my equipment being in it, and let's just say be a bit less gentle with it. It's called all weather because it has a raincoat coming up from the bottom, which I've used several times. It's very handy and it gives you peace of mind that your equipment will not get wet. But besides the design, besides of the fact that this is a well-built backpack, the accessibility of it is another great factor. What I mean by that is that you have 3 access points to the inside of the backpack. You have 2 on the sides and another bigger one reinforced on top. But of course, if you want to access everything at once, you use the main cover in the back. Okay, before we actually look inside the bag, let me get this thing out of the way, the things I'm using to make this video. I have here on the tripod my Sony A7S III, amazing camera. I use it mainly for video work. My Tamron 17-28 f2.8, which in my opinion it's an amazing budget wide lens. I've spent so much money on equipment this year, I really couldn't afford buying all the G Master lenses from Sony. But don't get me wrong, this lens, And because this camera was so expensive, I was like, I gotta buy a cage and it will be inside the cage all the time. And of course, you can't go wrong when you buy a cage from SmallRig. These guys do amazing stuff. And of course, last but not least, this lav mic from Røde is an amazing microphone. I use it quite a lot, both here on YouTube, but also for my client work. Okay, let's look inside. As you can see, there's 2 big empty spaces over here. Here is where I would put my lav microphone, and here I would put my A7S III with the lens I just mentioned. About a month ago, I bought the Sony A7IV, and ever since I have it, I travel with both camera bodies because I think it's an amazing combo to have. It's like having superpowers. I made a video about this camera, so if you want to watch that, I'll put it up here, but only after you watch this. Okay, let's look at the other lenses. Over here I have the Tamron 28-75 f2.8. Needless to say, this is an amazing lens. Now I can cover a range from 17 to 75 in these 2 lenses. When I bought the Sony A7IV, I bought it with the kit lens 28-70. I would never buy this lens alone, but when I compared the price of buying this alone or these 2 together, I was like, you know what, I'll buy it. Maybe I need this range sometimes on both cameras, so it was one of those good to have kind of things. Over here I have the Røde Videomic Pro Plus. This microphone is amazing. I use it in so many situations, indoor, outdoor. Just a heads up, it doesn't come with this, what is this? Oh yeah, dead cat. It doesn't come with the dead cat, you gotta buy this separate. But other than that, this is an amazing microphone. It has its own battery which you can charge with the mini USB cable they provide, but when you run out, you can also just throw 2 AA batteries at it and keep going, which I think is super convenient. Plus, you're never gonna have to worry about turning on and off your microphone because this does it automatically as long as it's connected to your camera. Now this I bought over a year ago, and it's one of those things I need to have with me at all times. You never know how I can increase the production value of what I'm doing with maybe 5–10%. This is the Aputure MC RGB light, and it's just a little beast. Of course, since it's RGB, you can pretty much select any color you want. It even comes with some special effect modes. You can attach it to any metal surface because it has magnets on the back. You can charge it wirelessly. Man, this is very good value for your money. And it comes with this rubber diffuser, which I pretty much use 90% of the time. This here is the DJI Mavic Mini. This is actually the only drone I have. You know, I told myself I will not get a better drone until I get my commercial license to use here in Denmark for this kind of work for my clients. Until then, this little toy does the job. You know, I've taken it a lot in my travels. I use it in my YouTube videos. It's not 4K, but I think the image quality is good enough. Over here I keep the remote of the drone, and this is part of the Fly More combo, which is basically a charger with 3 batteries. This allows me to film for more or less an hour, but of course it depends on how windy it is and how much power the drone has to consume. And actually what I really love about it is that this can also act as a power bank for your other devices as well. Over here I keep the little pouch the Aputure light came in. I use it to store my batteries and my memory cards. It's pretty useful. Here in the corner, I just have some things to keep my lenses clean. Over here in the middle, I have my 2 filters. I have one variable ND. This is from K&F Concept. It's not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest either. This is amazing when you're shooting in broad daylight. You know, if it's sunny outside, maybe you still want to maintain a certain depth of field. Like everyone says, it's like putting sunglasses on your lens. Ooh, and over here, this is my latest acquisition. This is a Polarizer filter from PolarPro. I made a video about it last week, so maybe check that if you want to know more about it, but this is amazing when you're dealing with reflections, no matter what kind. If you're shooting cars, if you're dealing with water or windows, this is amazing. Plus, it's not one of the cheaper ones, so it's amazingly built, and it comes in this really nice carry case. Now, I don't always have my laptop with me, but it was really important when I bought the backpack that it would carry my MacBook Pro M1 Max. Sometimes I take the laptop because I want to do a draft edit on a client location, or maybe I'm just traveling and I have to edit wherever I go. Over here, I keep some connection cables for some of these things, a pair of headphones, and some extra propellers for my drone because I crashed a couple of times. But what I really want to point out is this Samsung SSD T7 2 terabytes. This is amazing. I use it at home all the time, but of course when I travel, to have so much storage space in this little piece over here, it's amazing. But other than that, the only item I still have with me outside of the backpack most of the time is this Gorillapod from JOBY. I've mentioned before I have a hate and love relationship with this thing. I hate it. But it's pretty useful when I'm vlogging or I want to use some creative angle. So yeah, this is what's in my camera bag in 2023. I don't think I'm buying anything extra anytime soon, but if I am, I'll let you know. Of course, there's a bunch of things I still want to buy, but we'll see what my budget allows. And within a year or so, I'll probably make again one of these kind of videos. With that said, I hope you liked today's video, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.